Hello everyone, I'm making this video to talk about a few things that have been going through my mind as I started thinking of my second legacy video. The work on it has slowly begun, and here's what I've been thinking. There are a few topics. The first one is again the locations. I've mentioned that a couple of times before that I need a place that looks like Drummond Cass but is actually reachable by both Republic and Empire, and I've had issues finding such a place. I took Oricon out of the equation. On one hand, it's too high level, and I remember when I recorded Poena and Klepto there, I had a lot of troubles with people ganking us, and I can only imagine if I take level 20 characters or something like that to Oricon, not just the players but the mobs will make my life a nightmare. And on the other hand, Oricon is too different than Drummond Cass in my opinion. Yeah, I can edit the video a little bit, but there's just too much lava and red sky, and it doesn't really have the Drummond Cass atmosphere. Some of the people in previous videos have mentioned Alderaan, but I'm not sure if I know of any place. So if you can tell me a place in Alderaan that can resemble Drummond Cass in a way, it's like some temple or house or ruins where both factions can meet, that will be good. I was thinking of Voss. I recorded a few legacy videos of Sidonia in the dark heart of Voss, and I think with shifting the green ambience of the dark heart to a blue one through video editing can make a good impression of Drummond Cass. Again, it's relatively high level, but at least there are not so many players inside, and I think I could use that. And the other thing that came up in my mind was using the Tower of Prophecy on Voss, you know, the one in Voss Camp where the three reside. It'll be very easy because it's a non-hostile area and I can film everything I want, take all the time I need. Oh, and when I spoke about the Dark Heart, I forgot to mention the Shrine of Healing as well. It's the Dark Heart or the Shrine of Healing, both can work. So I'm gravitating towards Voss, and this week I'll figure it out if I can use it or not. And as a last resort, I might have to start another character, yet another character for the Legacy. It will be only till level 10, but still, I think I don't want to create any more characters, but we'll have to wait and see. So that was about the location, the place that resembles Drummond Cass. The next part of this video will be genetics, interspecies relations and reproduction. Now in my other legacy, I've made up my own rules more or less, you know, with Sidonia's parents. They are Klepto is a yellow Twi'lek, Akavi is a red Zabrak, and their child is a red Twi'lek. But I would like to ask if there are any official rules on how this thing works. I've heard in the past someone saying that there are no hybrid species, which of course will work well because we can't create hybrid species in the Old Republic. But I'm just curious to know, can all species, for example, reproduce with each other? For example, can you have a child between a Rhodian and a human or something like that? I have something on my mind, and I'll probably do it regardless of how things work, but it'll be nice if I can tie it to some laws of Star Wars biology, if there are any. So if anyone can explain to me how that works, if there is an official explanation, I'll be glad. That was point number 2. Point number 3 is the Emperor's Wrath. A few questions about the Emperor's Wrath. Now first, is it safe to assume that the Emperor's Wrath is above the Dark Council? Now, I realize that the Emperor's Wrath's job is not really ruling the Empire, but being the physical embodiment of the wrath of the Emperor. But is it safe to assume that if the Emperor's Wrath does not like the way the Dark Council functions or the things they do, he would order them to change and they would listen? Or do you think they'll try to rebel against him or something like that? Also, about the Emperor's Wrath, does he share some sort of mental connection to the Emperor? I think he doesn't. You know, similar to how the hand shares a connection, and the voice, well, the voice is arguably the Emperor's mind, but the hand has that connection with the Emperor, and I wonder if the Wrath has it too. I think he doesn't, but correct me if I'm wrong. Also, speaking of the Emperor's hand, a few questions about them. First, how powerful are they? Is it safe to assume that they are at least as powerful as the Dark Council members, for example? Or are they more like manipulators pulling strings behind the shadows? Another question about them also is, are they all Sith? Now, I think we have only seen 3 of them out of 12 members, but would it be okay if were to introduce a Hand of the Emperor member that is not a pure-blooded Sith? And final question, what is their current location or mission, or what do we know about them after Chapter 3 ends? I think they are tending the Emperor or something like that. They are making sure that the Emperor recovers properly. I don't think we've heard anything about them in any of the storylines introduced after Chapter 3. I think the message that the Sith Warrior gets is the last bit of information about them. But if you know anything else, I'd like to know. And last question about the Hand. Do we know how dependent they are on the Emperor? Do they exist solely to serve him, or would it be safe to assume that they have lives of their own? And just in general, do we know more about the Emperor's Hand? And if we do, what is exactly that we know? And I think that was all the questions I wanted to ask and all the things I wanted to say. Some of it were not really questions, but more like my thoughts on the matter. I'll probably have more, and when I do, I'll make a video about it. But just to summarize, if you know any good locations on Alderaan that can represent Drummond Kaas, please tell me, because some other people have mentioned that. I'm currently gravitating towards either the Dark Heart, the Shrine of Healing, or the Tower of Prophecy. And if not, as a last resort, I'll make another character to level 10. The second point, interspecies relations and genetics. How does it work? Are there any limitations? So on and so forth. Point number 3, well, kind of 3 and 4, depends on how you look at it. The Emperor's Hand and the Emperor's Wrath. Is the Wrath mentally connected to the Emperor? Is he on top of the Sith hierarchy? You know, at least higher than the Dark Council? What is the Emperor's Hand? Where is it? Do they have lives of their own? How powerful they are? And what are they currently doing? By currently, assume the time, let's say at during Chapter 4, for example. So I hope I made some sense with all this. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. I'll be interested to see your comments. As a closing statement, I want to thank the one person who ordered something. Currently we had one thing from the shirt and mug shop that I opened yesterday that was ordered. Thank you, whoever ordered it. And that was it. Stay tuned and be good.